AITAH for kicking out my dad's girlfriend after she made a comment about me being racist because I wear a bonnet when I sleep. Recently, my dad visited me with his new girlfriend, and when she saw me wearing the bonnet my friend gave me, she flipped out, accusing me of cultural appropriation. I tried explaining it's about hair texture, but she got emotional. After a big argument, I kicked them out. Now my dad is pressuring me to apologize, but I don't feel bad at all. Yes, this is as dumb as the title sounds. For some context, I'm white. I have super thin, curly hair, and every time I go to sleep, I wake up with the worst bedhead. I mean, giant knots in my hair sticking up in all different directions, and it's super frizzy. My best friend is black, and she thinks it's hilarious how crazy it looks sometimes. I told her over the summer that I was really tired of how unmanageable my bedhead is, and for my birthday recently, she got me a bonnet. She wears one to bed every night, so she thought it would help my bedhead. Oh boy, does it. I don't know how exactly it does it, but my bedhead has wildly improved since I started wearing my bonnet. Way less frizzy, and I rarely get knots anymore. Now to the problem. My dad and his girlfriend came to visit me recently, and his girlfriend, who's also white, saw me wearing my bonnet. I just want to say, I literally just met this lady. My dad has a new girlfriend every time I see him, so this woman is nearly a complete stranger. When she saw me wearing my bonnet, she went off on me. She called me racist and said I was culturally appropriating headwear. I tried to explain to her that wearing a bonnet isn't a racial thing. It's a hair texture thing. Apparently, this was somehow me invalidating her beliefs or some shit, and she got very emotional. To prove my point, I called my best friend, put her on speaker, and asked her if she felt like me wearing a bonnet was racist. She was just laughing her ass off at my question. My dad's girlfriend stormed out of my apartment and went to cool off. When she got back, she apologized for storming off and told me I owed her an apology. I asked for what? She said I hurt her feelings. I refused. I told her to get her shit and get out of my apartment. My dad said he was disappointed by my behavior, and I told him to get out too. Ultimately, they cut their visit short. Now, I've literally been getting texts nonstop from my dad telling me to apologize to her and saying that I've broken her heart. I'm probably an for this part, but I told him not to worry and that I'll just apologize to his next girlfriend with a white savior complex. I told this all to my mom, and as much as she hates my dad, she said it was a bit uncalled for me to just kick him and his girlfriend out of my apartment and onto the street. IDK though, I don't feel badly at all. AITAH? Relevant comments. Commenter. NTA. As a black woman, I'm telling you that she's the problem, not you. We despise when people act like her because she is not standing up for our rights at all. She is policing other people in a manner that allows her to pat herself on the back to make herself feel superior. Tell Daddy Tomcat you'll apologize to the flavor of the month when she stops misappropriating racist rage to make herself feel superior. Girl, enjoy your bonnet and go to a black hair store when you get a chance. They may not only be able to recommend product to help with the hair issues, but they have really cute bonnets, so you can pick whatever one you like. Welcome to the Bonnet Sisterhood. Best of luck. Commenter, you don't owe her jack. She is in your space, giving her opinion. Tell your dad that she is not welcome in your home. Broken her heart? WTF is that supposed to mean? She gets to come into your home and criticize you, and you are just supposed to deal with it. But 5 days ago, my daughter visited me, and she was crying. I was angry at her for ignoring me for all this time, but I took her in. She hugged me right away, and after a while, she told me the truth. She told me that she's pregnant, and her mom kicked her out after she ran out of money I gave her. I was so shocked because I didn't even know my daughter had a boyfriend, but now my daughter is pregnant. I love my daughter very much. Even if she has betrayed me, I couldn't just deny her entry to my house. I let her in. She is staying with me once again, but I do not talk to her. She told me she found out that she's pregnant a month ago, and after she told her mom, she was kicked out after a lot of taunting for days, and her ex-BF doesn't want to take care of her child, so she needs my legal help. I told her I will help her with everything, but do not talk to me. I said I did everything for you, sacrificed everything for you, but you didn't even come back to your home or meet your father. Even once I haven't been talking to my daughter ever since she came back. She, on the other hand, is depressed and suddenly turned back into a 9-year-old. She would randomly hug me and come to my side to sleep, and while sleeping, she hugs me and cry, and I feel like she wants her father's comfort, so I hug her back and let her sleep. My daughter begs me to talk to her and says that she needs her father, but I think I should punish my daughter for just abandoning me. That's why I'm giving her silent treatment, though I will help her with everything else. Am I wrong for being upset with my daughter? Relevant comments. Commenter, go see a therapist with your daughter. It sounds like neither of you are handling this very well. Along with this, a step-up model action plan. Job, own residence, stable life for the child. She's 24 and acting like a baby. Time for her to grow up. Commenter, I am not going to give you a judgment, but I am going to give you some advice. Your daughter likely spent her whole life building up fantasies of her mom in her head. And then, when her mother showed back up when she was an adult, you tried to treat her as a kid and forbid things. Meanwhile, mom is there probably acting more like a cool friend than a parent. She's still young and she made mistakes. Being pissed about that is normal. We are often pissed at our families when they screw up. But the silent treatment is ultimately not going to make you feel better. What I would suggest is that the two of you do some family counseling sessions together. Frame it less around, I told you so, and more so you can communicate how much she hurt you by doing what she did. Use this opportunity to fix your relationship. Otherwise, as soon as she is stable and on her feet, she's going to be gone again, but not to her mom. Just gone, and with your grandkid. I assume you don't want that. Thank you for sticking around until the end. If you liked our videos, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with our latest content. Have a wonderful day. Story 2. My F-24. Boyfriend M25 claims he didn't mean it after drunkenly admitting he was in love with his friend, F-29. What now? We have been dating for 6 months. She, Haley, is friends with my boyfriend Jared, but they are not very close. She has come up in our conversations a couple of times, but nothing too serious. She broke up with her boyfriend about 3 months ago, and I have noticed he has gotten distant, but I didn't think too much into it because he's a part-time model, and sometimes he travels and gets quiet. He is a great guy, very kind and very generous, and even when he's being distant, he's nice and sweet when we talk. Haley is gorgeous, and I would lie if I said I was not intimidated by her, but I am, and I feel bad because she's genuinely a nice person. Friday night, Jared had his friends over at his house, got very drunk and called me. I was glad that he thought about me in that moment, and we had a long conversation with him rumbling on and me laughing. It was light and funny until I asked him how he met Haley, so he asked me, "Do you also think she's adorable?" I don't know why I asked this, but I asked him if she was his type. His response was, "I love petite girls. Petite girls are so cute." She is 5'2", feminine and skinny. I am 5'9" and a bit on the bigger side. My heart sunk after this. I asked him why he was with me and not Haley. He said she was in a relationship and he couldn't bring himself to ask her out. He regrets seeing me because now she's single and he can't ask her out because of me. I didn't want to hear more, so I told him I was going to bed. I have been crying since then. Yesterday I asked him about everything he told me, and he claims he didn't mean it. He was drunk. He reassured me today, but I still feel hurt, and I don't know what to believe. What would you do? Relevant comments. Commenter, 6 months? I'd let him go be with the woman he told you he liked more. There's nothing wrong with you. This dude has issues, and you should just let him go before he wastes more of your time. Commenter, I'm sorry, but he literally said he regrets seeing you because now she's single and he can't ask her out because of you. Just let him go. You don't want to always feel like you're holding him hostage because of honor and your second choice. I'm sorry, and I know it hurts, but he's not the one. Commenter, drunk words speak sober thoughts. I never understand people who blame being drunk on stupid shit. It doesn't create thoughts. It lowers your filters. Your actions are still your own. Story 3. Man. I feared my entire childhood proved me right 15 years later. Okay, so I don't really know much about Reddit, and usually only visit it for when I'm stuck at certain levels or puzzles in a game. But now I keep thinking about this and laying awake over it. I don't feel like I can talk to my family about this, and I honestly don't really want to explain it to my friends as I'm afraid this makes me look bad. So, to start, my grandparents live in a country different from my own. It's a farmer's village with some homes that didn't have running water until a decade ago, and most still without internet. We would visit for about a month every summer, from the time I was 6 months old. This meant we would spend a month every year in this very close-knit and cut-off community, and all the villagers would take great interest in the foreign kids visiting every year. Honestly, as I didn't speak the language and these people were often quite old, and sorry to say kind of smelly, I was pretty scared of all of them, but there was one in particular, let's call him David. David was a close friend of my granddad, a farmer just a few doors down, and I was absolutely terrified of him. I would cry and kick and scream whenever he entered the yard, and my family would frequently yell at me for being so mean to this kind man. He wasn't that old, probably around my parents' age rather than my grandparents', and his teeth and smell were no worse than the other old people. I just hated him. Even when I got old enough to know not to scream or cry, I always tried to avoid the moment he arrived, as in this country it is custom to greet people by kissing them on the cheeks, and I wanted him nowhere near me. As a teenager, I would lock myself in my bedroom to avoid him. I had no real reasons for this. He just always creeped me out. I found him gross. I didn't like the way he looked and chuckled at me, and he always squeezed my shoulders too tight. And then, a few years ago, David just disappeared. I never asked about him because, honestly, I was just glad he was gone, and it had always been a sore spot for my grandparents that I hated him that much, and it had always caused a lot of tension in the family. But my sister recently slipped and revealed the reason I had not seen David in so long is because he is in prison for knocking his mother's head in with a hammer. I honestly don't know why I reacted like I did, but I started shaking and crying. Whenever I lay awake about it, I shake in fear and panic that I can't seem to get rid of. I hope confessing it somewhere will help. I always felt like I wasn't close with my grandparents because of my unnecessary fear of this man, but I could never get over it. And now I absolutely never will, despite being in my 20s now. I don't want to go back to that village, honestly, and I'm also feeling weird about the fact that everyone in my family knew he had done this and kept it from me on purpose. Did they think I would go around saying, "I told you so"? I'm honestly kind of disgusted by all of this. I hope screaming this into the Reddit void will help, but if it doesn't, I might have to look for professional help to deal with all of this. Relevant comments. Commenter, please. Never not listen to your intuition. That's incredibly strong, which is a good thing despite the bad feelings that come with it. Commenter, I had a bad feeling about a classmate years ago. I couldn't avoid him because he was my then boyfriend's friend. Years later, he's in prison for murder. When we were in school, he hadn't killed anyone yet, that we know of. But that feeling, that intuition was there. You felt that. It's an odd sensation, isn't it? Here's this person doing or saying nothing bad, but you can't shake the badness coming off them. It'll help to get some counseling for all that you're feeling. There are deeper layers to address, like no one telling you and the feelings of betrayal. I'm glad you made the right decision to stay away from him. It kept you safe. Good luck. Commenter, man, that's wild. It's crazy how our fears from childhood can turn into something real like that. You didn't even know what he was capable of. Honestly, better to be safe than sorry, right? At least now you can feel a little justified. It's a tough situation for sure, but just remember, it's not your fault for feeling scared back then. It's good you talked about it here, though. Maybe writing it out is a start to finding peace. Story 4. My daughter left me to stay with her mom and ignored me. AITAH for not talking to her after she came back to me pregnant. I raised my 24-year-old daughter on my own. I had my daughter when I was very young. I was 19. Her mom broke up with me and said she didn't want to be responsible for a child, and I had her full custody. My ex gave up her rights to her daughter and left who knows where. It was really, really hard for me to raise her and take care of her. Thankfully, my sister and my mom helped me take care of her when I was working, but still it was hard for me to take care of my daughter, working and doing chores and other stuff all on my own. For her, I even sacrificed dating or marriage. I didn't want my daughter to have a stepmom or anything like that. My daughter's and her mom's relationship started flourishing 2 years ago. Her mom visited me and said she wanted to talk to her daughter. I didn't want to allow her, but I thought my daughter needed to know about her mom. They have gotten closer and hang out a lot. I didn't have a problem with that, but 10 months ago my daughter said she wants to go live with her mom. I refused. I told her it's better she just stays with me and visit her mom every day if she wants. But my daughter didn't listen to me. She said she's an adult and can do whatever she wants. I tried explaining and told her repeatedly that my ex is not a good person, but my daughter didn't listen to me. After she left, I wasn't in contact with my daughter for all these months. I tried, but she would deny meeting me and always tell me she's busy or other excuses, and we only talked to each other on the phone.